Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and I'm coming back with another Inktober bunch of drawings today. This first one is a lion and it is specifically fan art of Aslan from the Narnia series. This is for the prompt wild because, for one, the lions in general are wild animals, and the prompt reminded me of the quote, "He is not a tame lion." And I went very simple for this one and just gave him a blacked out mane and the end of his tail to give a little interest and contrast. Then we have the prompt ornament. See if I'm remembering that correctly. But for that, I decided to go for jewelry. And my favorite piece of fantasy jewelry, I think, is Arwen's Even Star necklace from The Lord of the Rings. I really enjoyed how it looked and how they made it shine in the movies. And I think it's a really cool reference to her name. And I just did a simple black and white outlining piece for that. Then we have probably my magnum opus from this crop. It's the only one I did in my marker book, or my marker sketch pad on my marker paper. Anyway, this one was to coincide with Geeky's theme of the week, which was galaxies. So Greatly Geeky likes to draw pinup girls, and last Inktober she did almost every day pinup girls with galaxy hair. So she gave them really big flowy hair and then let her India inks in like pink and blue and black flow together and make sort of a, what are they called? Nebulas sort of looking things, like nebulas in space, and then she put stars over top of them. And she did a week this Inktober featuring those. So that was her theme of the week, and so I made a piece to go along with it, which is a galaxy dragon. So he has all these windy, swiggly, nebulous colors on his wings, and I felt like it was just a bunch of modeledness until I decided to go over it all with a light blue, and that just darkened it all up and made it kind of flow together a lot better. So I'm very happy I decided to do that. And this piece was also for the prompt misfit. So what I decided was that this dragon is a misfit because of his modeled wings. All the other little dragons have wings that are all one gemstone color, but he has these many colored splotchy wings with little stars all over him, so he's a misfit. And so that's why his little head is poking out from behind his wing. He's kind of being shy and hiding away. But he actually has very beautiful wings. He just doesn't know it yet. I also really felt like putting the outlining the, what are they called, constellations on his wings really added to this piece. When they were just dots and little stars, it didn't look nearly as good, I felt like. So I'm very happy I decided to outline the constellations like Greatly Geeky does. Then we have my piece for sling, which I decided after looking on the internet at the dictionary definition of sling for some inspiration. I was wondering if it was interchangeable with fling, like I thought it was, because I was thinking maybe showing a drawing of someone throwing a grappling hook, which it is a synonym for fling, but in the dictionary definition it also mentioned hammocks. You sling a hammock. So I decided to do a hammock, and to go along with this being a fantasy piece, I decided to make it a fairy in a hammock. And of course, what a fairy would string her hammock on would be flowers. And I've always enjoyed fairies being around gigantic flowers, and also the idea of big flowers that are this big compared to real people. How cool it would be to have giant flowers. So I was very happy to do a piece with big flowers and a little fairy between, and I just had her sort of sleep in there in the hammock on her side with one wing sticking up and her face kind of cuddled on the side of the hammock. And I got out my gel pens again with those and a lot of the sparkly ones and went to town. Then we have the prompt tread, for which I decided to keep with the fairy theme and draw some fairy boots. So for these I decided they would be made of leaves, so I put sort of leaf patterns sort of wrapping around all the different parts of the boot, and because boots are my favorite type of shoes. And then I gave a little detailing on the top that's supposed to be like petals that have been folded around to make edging, and then a little what's it called, belt clippy thing, which I have a lot of on my boots, that's kind of made of a darker sort of grass or something, and then little brown heels. And I really enjoyed designing these. Fairy boots and fairy clothes in general are some of my favorite things. I really enjoy how intricate and fun they can be, so I really like doing that. But now we have the piece for treasure, which I decided what would be a thing that I could find, say, in someone's attic or have given to me that I would think of as treasure, but other people might not think of as treasure, and that would be a big stack of higgledy-piggledy fantasy books. So I decided to do a simple black and white pen drawing, and I decided to put names on them of some of my favorite fantasy books. So you can see A Turn of Light, Uprooted, Temeraire, what's that one? Wren to the Rescue. I decided that little squat one looked kind of the shape of Howl's Moving Castle, but I could only fit Howl's on it. And then we have Wizardology, Dragonology, and Monsterology. All but one of those are books that I own. I don't own Howl's Moving Castle yet, but I hope to soon. And then I put some sparkles around them because they're magical fantasy books. Then we have the prompt for Ghost, and for that I decided to do some more fan art, because this is a reference to a book that I just read during the Monsterthon, which is called The Isle of the Dead, which is part of the Dragons of Del Tour series by Emily Rada. The reason I read it for the Monsterthon is because there are a lot of ghosts in it, and one of the ghosts is a sweet girl who wears a yellow dress, and so I decided to draw her yellow dress and have it have, once again, some magical swirls and sparkles around it. Then we have the prompt Ancient, our last one for today, and for that I decided to go for Ancient Ireland because that is very fantasy associated. That's where a lot of the legends of Fae come from, and a lot of magical stories are based in Ireland because it's a very cool country. I have some Irish ancestors, but not as closely related to me as my Swedish ancestors. So I decided to draw some of the rocks that me and my mom visited a few years ago when we went to Ireland, and also some other Irish type things. The one on the bottom is the same sort of thing as they're standing stones. They're to mark a grave, and it's along the same lines as Stonehenge. And then we have a hut like the ones on that little island where they filmed The Last Jedi, and then we have a little Celtic cross because I'm a Presbyterian, which is a type of Christian that uses Celtic crosses on all. Woo! We use Celtic crosses on all our churches. So there you go. Those are all my Inktober pieces for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!